Hi! Kamusta? My name is Mara. I'm from the Philippines and I studied Master of Disaster Management at the University of Auckland in New Zealand. I vlog about my experiences living and studying in New Zealand. In this video, I will talk about the challenges that international students face in living and studying abroad. Of course, when you're in a different country, you have a lot of adjustments to make. You'll adjust in a different environment, weather, culture, and even food. In particular, I will share the two main challenges that I have experienced: being away from my family and loved ones, and unfamiliarity with New Zealand's education system. I will also share how I was able to overcome these challenges. Also, this is a very special episode because it's not just me who will be sharing these challenges. Since this vlog is about international students, I invited my friends from two different countries. They were my co-scholars in New Zealand and they will also share their experiences, so make sure to watch until the end.
Great pleasure to welcome everybody to the University of Auckland.
Okay, so let's get started. First challenge that I experienced living and studying in a different country was being away from my family and loved ones. I think this was the biggest challenge that I faced because it was my first time to be away from my family for a very long time. I once experienced to be out of my home country for about 2 months for a cultural exchange program around Southeast Asia. But it was different when I went to New Zealand because I studied my master's there for almost 2 years. I felt homesick, especially during the first few months. And I think this is really common for international students or for anyone who left their home countries. It's really hard. Of course, you're very far from them, and in my case, the Philippines is approximately 10 hours away from New Zealand via plane. And there's also a time difference of 4 to 5 hours depending on the daylight savings. So my advice on how to overcome this? First, stay connected online. Thankfully, there's a bunch of social media platforms where we can keep in touch with our family. In my case, I made a family group chat on Facebook where I share updates, photos, videos, etc. We do video calls every now and then, some things like that. Second, ask for help when needed. And this is really important, guys, especially when you're just starting to explore everything in that country. Of course, you have to be careful with the persons that you will trust. And if you found some, do not be ashamed to ask because you are not alone in this journey. Third, be friendly. When I was in New Zealand, I made sure to connect with the Filipino community there. There are lots of Filipinos in New Zealand, studying, working, some are permanent residents and citizens there. And I was lucky because I went to New Zealand together with 4 other Filipino scholars. There's also a group of Pinoy students in New Zealand. I have also an aunt there, living with her family. And these people helped me a lot, and I'm very much thankful for them. But what if you're from a different country, you're going there alone, and you don't know anyone there? My friend Hadil has something to share about this, so let's listen to her experience. Hadil?
Hello everyone, peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Hadil Al-Zuwaide. I've been an international student at the University of Auckland. I've been studying Master of Environmental Engineering. It was a hell of an experience. It was no walk at the park, but it was very special, I would say. Anyway, as an international student, I think the challenges in New Zealand are much less compared to anywhere else in the world because of the inclusive environment and the kindness that you would be faced with. But yeah, there are some challenges and I think it's tough to overcome them, but yeah, it was worth it. So for me, the biggest challenge was to deal with the homesick and just that feeling of being separated from your family and friends, especially that I come from an extended family with a bunch of friends and friends of friends. And yeah, we Arabs love like social life. And so it felt weird at first, especially with the time zone difference. But to overcome this, I think I started to learn to be more open to new people and try to, I don't know, just explore and just, I don't know, expect nothing and just wait for others to show who they really are. And I think that was a fun experience, especially that you get to see the world through others' eyes, and then you start to appreciate this world more and you become more open to different cultures, different perspectives. I don't know, but it was fun. It feels like you will end up being friends with the whole United Nations somehow, especially in an international environment, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it is kind of cool. So yeah, my advice is just take it one day at a time and try to be open as much as you can. And yeah, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Everybody there will take care of you. Please share and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.
There you go. Thank you so much again, Hadil, for sharing your experiences and for your helpful tips. Very relatable and inspiring, right? So guys, as I said, be friendly. This is an opportunity for you to go out of your comfort zone and connect with other people, with other students. New Zealand is a very culturally diverse country. And also in the University of Auckland, there are lots of student organizations there where you can join. Volunteer orgs, sports, academic, groups that are related to different hobbies, and a lot more. So those were the things that helped us to cope up with being away from our family and loved ones while studying abroad. Another challenge that I faced as an international student was my unfamiliarity with New Zealand's education system. First of all, they have a different grading system. I mean, different from what I've experienced in the Philippines, which has a numerical grading system. In New Zealand, they use letter categories, A+ being the highest. So I got this question, is it hard to study there? My friend Saurabh will also share his experiences and some tips. So Saurabh, take it away.
Hello, Namaste and Mabuhay. I'm Saurabh Lama from Kathmandu, Nepal, and I graduated with a massive energy degree from the University of Auckland. So in this segment, Mara asked me to talk about one of the biggest challenges that I faced during my stay in New Zealand. So out of the many challenges, I think the one that I would like to touch upon would be the academic challenge that I had to face. So I've pretty much lived all my life in Nepal, apart from my stay in New Zealand, and I had kind of gotten used to a certain way of teaching in my home country, which was you kind of study throughout the semester, and then you have this series of examinations towards the end of the semester where you sit, you write answers, and then you give it, you get your marks back, grades back, and then you have your degree by the end of your study period. That was the system that I had kind of gotten used to. In New Zealand, things are a lot different. So it's a lot more research focused, and it is pretty much upon the student to take the initiative to research and try to get to absorb as much information as possible from the lecturers or other sources, whether it be books, libraries, journals. So that was something that I wish I had gotten used to when I was in Nepal already. So that was a learning curve. Something that didn't come to me initially at the start naturally, but over time, with work and with support around you, you kind of overcome it. So challenge number 2 is studying in a country that is predominantly, majority speaking English. So English is not my first language. That is something that came to me slowly with a lot of work. And even after I reached New Zealand, I was told that I kind of needed to brush up on my academic writing skills. But I'll tell you how I overcame those challenges. Tried to get around the university system. So my university employed this one online portal pretty much. It was called Canvas, where I would get notes, announcements from the lecturers themselves, and I would also get to learn about what my grades were or when my assignments were coming up. So get to know the system that your university applies. The other thing that I would say is try to get a lot of workshops going under your belt. So earlier I mentioned something about academic writing. My university was so helpful in that department where the uni would organize a lot of writing workshops for free for students. So you just sign up and then you would just appear, and then they would tell you about certain things that is expected from the university, right? So they would help you on referencing, how to use certain words. So there's a lot of workshops that would happen in the university itself. The next one would be to reach out. So in New Zealand, I think it's a lot less formal than what I was used to. I would be talking to my lecturers, my professors, on a first name basis, right? So in the case that I didn't understand certain topics during my lectures, or even some of the requirements for assignments, I would just email my lecturers and I would be like, hello, excuse me, do you happen to have certain time during this time? I would like to drop in. And I would just drop by, and they would be very casual. If they're free, they would be more than happy to accommodate what your needs are. So reach out to your supervisors, and these people are really helpful people, right? So I would urge everyone to try to use that tool in case that you are struggling with your academic responsibilities. So yeah, those are pretty much the advice that I'd like to give to any prospective students looking to study abroad, or in particular New Zealand. From a personal standpoint, I think studying in New Zealand was one of the best decisions that I made in my life, and I'm forever grateful for all the people that I met, the friends, the connections that I've built, and the experiences that I had. Thank you so much, Maraming Salamat to Mara for inviting me to speak on her channel. Well, speaking of channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. So thank you very much. Hope to see you in the next one. Happy 2021. Enjoy.
Wow, that was amazing and really insightful. Very well said, Saurabh, and thank you so much again for your time. Indeed, you need to familiarize yourselves with your degree and the university. Of course, different degrees have different requirements. And also maximize the resources that your university offers. It's all for free after all. So aside from what Saurabh has mentioned, and aside from what I shared earlier in this video, there were also differences in quote-unquote classroom etiquette. In New Zealand, we don't call our professors or lecturers sir or ma'am, or Mr. or Miss, or even prof. In my experience, we address them on a first name basis, and like Saurabh mentioned, even in sending emails. And to be honest, I really found it uncomfortable and weird at first, because we Filipinos used to call our teachers sir or ma'am to give respect, right? But in New Zealand, addressing them using their first name does not mean that you do not respect them. I think it's just how it is there, and don't worry because you'll get used to it. But maybe to be sure, ask your teachers how they want to be called. Some may still want to be addressed as professors or something like that. Right, so those were the two main challenges that we have experienced in studying abroad, particularly in New Zealand. Living and studying in a different country is not as easy as you think. Like what we have experienced, we found it challenging being away from our families and loved ones, and also in adjusting to a different education system. I did not make this video to discourage you guys. I want you to be prepared. Because yes, living and studying abroad will surely be exciting and all that, but there will come a time that you might also experience these difficulties. But don't worry, you can also overcome these challenges. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Special thanks again to my friends Hadil from Jordan and Saurabh from Nepal for sharing their experiences and for their very helpful tips. If you have similar experiences regarding this topic, or if you have questions, feel free to comment down below. And if you found this video informative, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post my next vlog. Until then, stay safe and see you again soon.